Call. Hey folks. Alright, today is another camera test. This is a Nikon Coolpix L30. This is a budget grade camera that I got for very cheap, refurbished, for about $45. So, this is just a test to see what the more budget end cameras are like. The L820 I did a video of previously was, it's like a higher end point and shoot without breaking the bank. This is like bottom of the barrel, old model stuff. So this is the Nikon Coolpix L30. Okay, I've turned an electronic VR setting on in the menu, which I think is stabilization, so hopefully this fixes the stabilization and shakiness that was happening before. Might not, might do so, I don't know yet. We'll find out. Anyhow, this camera shoots in 720p, 480p, and 240p at 30 frames per second. Those are your three options. It shoots at 20 megapixels for pictures, so pretty decent, I would say. Very good for a modern budget camera. There's a nice white pot. Ah, there's a white balance for you. White balance and exposure and stuff. It's a nice big tree. Alright. Do our usual test of walking to the pond. See if that stabilization helped any when I walk around. Or that stabilization setting, I should say. Oh, look at this. Yeah. Looks like there's a lot of eggs over here. Let's see if we can make a frog hop away. Oh, I see one. I see one right there. Hey, little guy. Hey, little guy. Do a thing. Do a thing. There's your zoom test on a floating frog there. That's a great picture, actually. I should get that. Just taking that picture there, it looks like when you're in video mode, it does a lot of digital zoom. Let me pause it for a minute and actually zoom it in optically. Okay, so it looks like when you do video, you have to pause before you zoom in. So now you can see that frog much more clearly, and I can actually see more shaky movement on the LCD screen, so hopefully this isn't too much of a roller coaster ride for you. Sing your song, Froggy. Let's see if I can zoom out any. Nope. There we go. We caught some nature in action there. How cool is that? I might actually make that a separate video on its own. So, now I gotta pause the camera to zoom. Alright, so here's some purple flowers over here. I'm thinking that, I wonder if zooming on the L820 would have the same problem where you have to pause to optically zoom. It might have that same thing going on. I'm not quite sure. It probably does. I should have mentioned that in the other video, I think. But that's okay. I'm sorry about my hand there. Here's the vlogging test. So, there you have it. That is an example of the Nikon Coolpix L30 outdoors. So, why am I camera testing this camera? Well, or at least after getting the L820. Well, I wanted to see what you could get for very little amount of money and see if it's still decent. A lot of point and shoots these days are starting to have 720p as a standard resolution when recording video. That doesn't mean it's going to take good quality video. Every camera's different. But that means the potential for it to be pretty darn decent is there. And I've seen a little bit of footage off the computer with this camera, and it does seem to be pretty good for what it is, especially for $45 to $50 for one of these refurbished. I got this off of eBay for about $45, and it seems to be a pretty competent performer. Seeing how I remember how YouTube videos used to be in like 2007, 2008, a lot of people had point and shoots that took really crappy quality video, like 320 by 240 with really sad sound. So cameras now, as you can see, this is even an older model. It's an L30. I think there's an L33 out now in 2015 as a newer model. I'm not quite sure on that. I think it's the L30, so, or L33. So, you know, it looks like if you just want a camera for YouTube, or you know, for just taking video when you're on vacation or on holiday, a camera like this can definitely do the job. No problem. For pictures, it's excellent, as you'll see towards the end of the video. For video, it's pretty decent. The microphone isn't the best, but the video quality is definitely good enough for like Facebook videos or YouTube videos of your vacations, or just the kind of YouTube videos I do, where I point a camera at something and talk about it and handle the item. Something like that. This is perfect for that. Main gripes about this camera, and I think about point and shoots in general, is that you have to pause the video to optically zoom. You can only do digital zoom when doing video. I don't know if that applies to my L820, which is a higher end camera than this, or not, but it definitely applies to this one. I think it might apply to the other one as well. The microphone is on the front, so you're going to get more wind noise. That's a given with cheaper cameras like this. This camera is definitely meant for one-handed operation, if you look at the grip. So that could induce a little bit more shakiness, just because of the fact that you're using, that it's designed for one hand. The positives about this camera: it has a really nice interface, like most of these Nikon cameras do nowadays. The sound is decent, the picture is decent for video. The pictures, as far as photographs go, are very good. They're not out of focus or anything like that. Again, I'm just going to let you judge for yourself, because some people are better photography experts than I am. So I'll let you judge when you see the photos towards the end of the video. The other good thing about this camera is it takes SD cards and AA batteries. So if you run out of battery power while on vacation, all you have to do is stop in a gift shop somewhere, get some AA batteries, and you're good to go. As far as card space goes, just make sure you get yourself a decently sized card. I have an 8GB card in this particular camera right now. So, whole gist of this camera. I thought it'd be good to try out budget cameras and actually do a decent test video for once. I've looked on YouTube for test videos of some of these more budget cameras, and they're not so good. So hopefully this serves as a much nicer test video for those of you out there looking to purchase Nikon Coolpix L30 or something similar, if it has a similar image sensor. So there you have it, folks. That was the outdoor test. This has been the vlogging test, so I'll bring this inside and we'll do the indoor test. Alright, here's the indoor test of this particular camera. Just you to get a good look of it. I got the red one really cheap. Red is not a bad color. It looks okay on this. It's better than piano black, I will say that. So, not too shabby. So there you go. This is an indoor test of this particular camera. As far as taking my space shots like this, it seems to be fine. So there you have it. Alright, let's do the indoor test. Bring it up to these switches here. Turn it around. Wow, it actually took a while to get this thing to change. There we go. It's fine now. Other cameras seem to respond to that a little bit faster. This one actually doesn't respond very well to that. Wow. If I zoom. It works a little bit if I zoom, but not a whole lot. Looks like it doesn't respond to exposure quite as well as some other cameras I've had. I've called this test white balance before, but it's really exposure more than anything else. Alright, so here's the rest of the room. It's a bit messy in here, as usual. There's the computer area again. I'm in the middle of projects. Of course, it looks a bit grainy on the LCD screen, so I'm going to assume it probably is. Big brother is watching you. Birdie. So there you have it. Here's the box it came in, this camera. Ugh. Came in one of these Nikon refurbished boxes here. Okay, I changed the autofocus, actually. I noticed that when I pointed this to this box, it wasn't focusing, so you can turn full-time autofocus on. So let me focus on something far away like that door over there, and come back to this. There we go. Okay, you do have the option to have full-time autofocus when shooting video. I just didn't realize I didn't have that turned on. That might be an important thing to have on, so remember to do that. So full-time autofocus mode is on now, so it'll focus far away stuff, and then you come back to close stuff, and it'll focus on that. So there you have it. Alright, in the box you have a pamphlet telling you to update the firmware on your camera, which is important because sometimes the firmware has nasty bugs. The camera came in this little plastic bag here. I got 2 Energizer AA's in there, which I'm using right now on this camera. Since they're free batteries, why not? And I get my warranty. So there you have it. That's what came in this box. Not very much, but you don't really need much with these particular Nikon boxes. They're pretty, yeah. Comes with a 90-day warranty for refurbished products, so that's pretty cool. So, maybe walking around with the autofocus on is a good idea. Here's a darkened portion of the room, which of course is the bed area. There's a corner that's extremely dark right there. So just like before, it's like mid-afternoon. So, you get that sort of thing going on. So that's a darker area of the room. It's probably very grainy right there. It's a bit out of focus. There we go. It goes back into focus. Alright, the autofocus seems to be pretty good. So now I'll go back into the bathroom here, point this at the mirror so maybe you can see the camera a little bit better when I point it up to the thing. There you go. It's nice and red. This was a cheap model in red, so that's pretty cool. Thing seems to shoot very good video as far as indoor and outdoor. So let's say you go back to where I normally shoot my YouTube videos, which is down here. I take an object. Let's say we were focusing on this hard drive, and I just want to take a look at it. So as you can see, just making a simple video like this about a piece of technology is very easy because you can just point it at something specific and it will focus on it, like the circuit board here. You can practically read the legend on the circuit board. Which is very nice. Take a close look at the SATA connector there. So you can take a very close look at objects and make videos of them, even for YouTube, even with a cheap camera like this now, which is very nice to see in the year 2015, even though this camera is years older than that. Making videos of objects in front of with a camera like this is definitely a thing now for YouTube. So overall, I like this camera. For a budget one, it's very nice. Microphone is decent. The Picture quality seems fine. It does pretty well indoors. It's a lot grainier than the L820, but it still does a good enough a job for YouTube, I feel. So if you guys aren't happy with the cameras that you use for YouTube, check out some cheaper point and shoots that shoot in 720p made by Nikon. They're actually pretty decent for that. These things shoot in .avi format. I think they use motion JPEG compression. So it's I'm not a biggest fan of that, but the quality seems decent enough. So, you know, these are a good option because they're cheap. So if you're looking for a camera for YouTube, this is definitely one to look at. If you're looking for just a quick camera to take out on vacation, it's perfect because look how small it is. This is my hand around it, and you know the batteries go in the bottom of this part here. So it's a nice small camera for that. It seems to take decent quality video. I'm using it to make a YouTube video right now, and it's not too bad. So for a budget camera, point and shoots are definitely becoming a lot more useful for YouTube and for vacations and things like that. These are just a much better option for video than they ever were. So if you have the choice, I would jump on it. Avoid 640 by 480 and go for the 720p point and shoot cameras like this one. So, you know, there you have it. That is the camera test for the Nikon Coolpix L30. Now here are some pictures I took with this camera for your enjoyment. Hope you enjoyed the video, and have a good one, everybody.